All right, welcome back to Counterpoints. I'm Ryan Grimm of The Intercept, here with Emily Jashinsky of The Federalist. A quick programming note. At some point during this show, I'm going to force Emily to define woke.
Bring it on.
Not now, because you're sort of... All right, what's woke?
I'm too ready. I've had too much coffee.
Yes. Yeah, anyway, you guys should Google that one if you haven't seen this viral clip going around. But yeah, I will get her on this. I don't think she knows what it is. Right?
Yeah, I've never heard of it actually.
How would you define woke if you were like put on the spot?
If someone was like define wokeness, yeah, I would say that it's unfortunately a nebulous definition because we have no consensus on what it means. It meant something very specific to the left at a point in time. It was then co-opted by the right and has basically become a catch-all for political correctness. I mean, that's essentially.
I think the correct definition is it's a stand-in for all the things that annoy me.
It's a stand-in for everything that people find annoying about the left. Now, we need a version of woke to describe the excesses of the American right. we need a parallel. Broke?
I think they go with woke. Like a bunch of right-wing organizations are calling each other woke now.
I know.
If they do anything that isn't just like completely supportive of like a patriarchy, you'll have people in these right-wing organizations who are like, I see wokeness.
Right.
Wokeness is creeping in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, essentially, though, it's just it's a one-syllable word for political correctness. Political correctness has always been clunky, and people mean ESG, they mean DEI when they say wokeness, but essentially it's coming from this place that, like, we do need to reevaluate language. And people even use it to mean cancel culture, which you can say is also rooted in that question of political correctness. But I think that's part of the problem with the word, is that it means what it needs to mean to the person at the time they use it.
Right. Right. And it's actually supposed to mean basically like awake to injustice.
Right. And that's what it was originally coined to describe. It's a very, very annoying term. It can be sometimes a helpful stand-in when at least I use it sometimes for political correctness, because political correctness is often just very clunky. It doesn't roll right off the tongue.
Too. But we do have an actual programming note. That's people noticed last week. We only posted a few episodes of this show directly to YouTube.
The clips,
on Wednesday, a couple of clips. If you want to watch the entire thing, you can go to breakingpoints.com, sign up for $10 a month, get the whole show.
Right.
Part with that money once a month. You can also, though, get it through Spotify now.
Yes.
And so in order to do that, so you go into your Supercast account online, which you'll get if you part with your $10.
This is to connect your premium subscription to your Spotify account.
Yes, and then you click on your Breaking Point subscription in Supercast. Then you click on the Spotify icon that links up your account. Spotify opens, asks you to log in. Once you're logged in, you'll get all the premium videos. So that way you'll still get the Vimeo link, you still get the YouTube private link, but now you can also watch it on Spotify.
Right. And I love the Spotify video feature. Have you used it?
I don't have premium Spotify.
Oh my gosh.
I just have the ad one.
Yeah. Oh, it is the best. Yes, I love premium Spotify, but the video function is fantastic.
I actually pay for Breaking Points, so I should.
I know, I do
I'm
too.
going to do this.
Why do we do that?
I do support it, generally. I didn't want to feel like I was mooching off of it. I like the idea of something that is funded by a lot of different people who have different viewpoints.
Right. It's awesome.
So that you can, tick people off, and then if some people unsubscribe, it's like, okay, fine.
Soccer and Crystal, if you're listening, Ryan and I would like $10 extra a month. Well, we have a really big show. Obviously, we're going to start with more news out of Ukraine. We're going to talk about Tucker's Q&A with all the Republican candidates for president in 2024, some of whom are announced, some of whom are not, on their positions of Ukraine. We're talking about developments in Silicon Valley Bank. We have Ken Klippenstein, Ryan's colleague from The Intercept, here to break down some truly, truly interesting reporting about Gavin Newsom's relationship with Silicon Valley Bank. We're going to be talking about potential lab leak. We're going to be talking about artificial intelligence, generative AI. So it is a huge show today. We hope that you take that step and link your premium subscription to your Spotify account.
All right, let's get into the show.
Ryan, talk to us about this Russian fighter jet. It downed a United States drone operating over the Black Sea on Tuesday, according to U.S. European Command. It was an MQ-9 aircraft. Ryan, you had a pretty funny reaction to the U.S. statement.
Right, right, we're not in World War III yet, so we can laugh about it. But yes, so basically 2 Russian jets basically intercepted a drone over the Black Sea. This happens fairly frequently around the world over the decades, and also while we're at war, or well, technically we are not at war, we are supporting a party with weapons that is at war.
How dare you?
With Russia. Right, we're hoping we don't actually get into a hot war with Russia. And so apparently these 2 Russian jets had a lot of fun with this drone. The military called it deeply unprofessional behavior. And so I'm just picturing Top Gun style stuff. Like they were watching Maverick and maybe they flipped off this drone.
Right.
Which is funny. I guess you'd have to find the camera because you can't flip off the pilot.
Right.
So you can flip off everybody back in Tampa who's like running the drone. And then my favorite part was they dropped a little jet, the Russian jets dropped a little jet fuel on the drone, and the military complained that it was, quote, environmentally unsound.
Right.
This is the military who we know for a fact produces, more carbon emissions, I think, than what, 10, the 10 biggest countries after it combined, dumps its own jet fuel in the Honolulu water supply. And also, may have had something to do with the greatest environmental catastrophe of the last year, which was the Nord Stream pipeline. But yeah, you shouldn't dump jet fuel on a drone. That's rude.
It's environmentally unsound.
And it's environmentally unsound.
It's an HR matter.
It's definitely, and it's going to hit the Russian military ESG score significantly.
Well, my favorite part of the statement is that I really think they're devious enough to know this might work with like the slice of people with Ukraine flags on the back of their Priuses.
Like how dare they dump jet fuel on the drone?
Like now, I really hate Putin.
The drone did end up crashing, which is also environmentally unsound, because now you've got a big drone pile of junk at the bottom of the Black Sea. And one of the Russian fighter jets, which apparently collided with the drone, had to basically make an emergency landing.
Yeah, and this is so according to U.S. Air Force General James Hecker, he's the command of U.S. Air Forces in Europe and Air Forces in Africa. He said that before the collision, two Russian aircraft, including the one that was involved in the collision, had been harassing the U.S. drone. So going back and forth, it ends up in a collision. And that's a good example, which we've had several from the first year of this awful war, of how fragile the balances and how quickly things can escalate. This is another sort of catastrophe that we have to really worry about, these kinds of things where something starts as harassment, ends in an accident, and before people realize what's happened, things can escalate. And
so the United States is summoning the Russian ambassador to have a conversation about this. Hopefully it's just a little talking to, be more professional and environmentally sound in your harassment of our drones.
Yeah.
We need to deconflict better so we don't have World War III, and hopefully none of us ends up dying as a result of this.
Right.
But that's the problem with prolonging this war, that you'd never know what type of incident is going to trigger some type of escalation that nobody saw coming. People feel like they have control of events in a way that history shows that they just don't.
Right.
And if you look back at almost any war, you see that events kind of get out of the control of the men and women who think that they're the ones who are actually directing it. Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're right in your point about the longer this goes on, the higher the chances become. The more time it's possible for something to just go extremely wrong. You remember what was the situation a couple of months back with the missile? Right, and immediately where the AP reported Russian missile strikes Poland. Was it? Yeah.
Right, and you have all kinds of completely reckless reactions, and by the time it was pretty immediately clear that people were jumping to conclusions and having reckless reactions. And now there's more transparency, oddly enough, on Twitter. You can sort of see how the people in the Polish government are reacting. You can see how people in the United States government are reacting, or in the media are reacting. And maybe that's to all of our benefit. I'm generally pretty skeptical of that, but maybe when you have the public watching you really closely and poking holes in your theory of the case before you can do something extremely stupid because you're trigger happy, maybe that's a good thing, but at the same time, it's extremely hard to believe because, to your point, Ryan, the longer that we're in this conflict, the longer there is, or the more chance there is that something goes very, very wrong for whatever reason. We can't know what it is yet.
And the rhetoric out of the Pentagon has actually been comforting in this sense on this occasion. they're calling the Russian pilots amateurs. It just, the idea that they would make their criticism that it's environmentally unsound, at least that's so trivial that it makes it less likely.
World War III over ESG.
Then how dare you?
Yeah.
Like how dare you? And then we're like, uh-oh, how dare you? Okay, we're gonna have a duel now,
Right.
and we're gonna be, missiles are gonna be pointing at each other.
Right.
So this kind of stuff, calling each other amateurs and saying that they behaved unprofessionally, is actually paradoxically a little bit comforting.
Yeah, a new way to duel though actually might be dumping fuel on each other. Who dumps the most fuel the fastest? I feel like that.
Somebody was saying that that's kind of common way to harass each other up in the sky.
I'm sure
that you can dump a little bit of fuel on somebody.
If anyone wants to take Ryan and me for a ride along.
I don't know, not anywhere near the Black Sea.
Yeah, well,
Thank you very much. I'll go to Tampa and watch it happen.
Yeah, Tampa. Yeah. Tampa's nice.
Right before happy hour.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Sagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.